Oh, right, good. Hi, my name's Richard Wisher. I'm an enterprise architect and I'm in Cambridge, just sitting in my garden at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll move inside into the boardroom. I was actually having a little bit of frustration because my camera wasn't working, but we seem to be up and running now. So let's just make sure this is set up properly. I'll just slight change if you just bear with me for a second. Okay, so there we go. Right, well, okay, great to see everybody. I do apologise for. I arranged for this to go live at 8 o'clock, but I had some problems with my camera on my Android device. Wasn't recognising it, wasn't playing at all, so I fiddled with it for about 15 minutes and I'm back online, right? So here we go. What I would like to talk about, I want to spend about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I was online yesterday, my very first formal scope, and tonight I want to try and go through a few of the things that I've learned, a few of the issues that I've come across, and a few of the opportunities that I've seen since playing with Scope. I've been on social media for quite some time, but Scope is obviously quite new. I've used video apps before. I've used Hangouts on Air. I've used video within tweets. But this is really the concept behind this, where you can get instantaneous reaction to a video, is absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic, and it's a disruptive concept. I don't think many people know exactly how to use it yet, but for sure it's disruptive. So let's get. Yeah, you can hear the bird song in the background. Yeah, I've got a bird table out the side, and we have we've got some regular visitors, but they're really coming in strong tonight. It's normally the dawn chorus, but now it's the sunset chorus. But it's nice here in Cambridge. It's lovely weather today. So I sit here in my boardroom, and I've got a big open window and straight onto the garden. So the garden is my ante-room, and this is my boardroom, and what could be better? Anyway, rabbiting on a bit, what I would like to do is I would like to cover a few things tonight, just very briefly. I'd like to cover some introductions. I've tried introductions before. I've got to do introductions a little bit differently on Scope, so I'm going to try that. I'd like to discuss just very briefly the likes and comments. Again, it's something very scopy, but again, I'd like to cover it just for my benefit as well as yours. I'll go through like I did yesterday. I went through basic functionality, and I'll do that again from my perspective. I'm an enterprise architect, so I maybe see things a little bit different. The functionality is very slim, but it's some nice hidden gems in there that you can actually get at. And then what I would like to do to round off the session is how you grow your audience. Now, I'm learning this as I go along, but I do grow my audience on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Google+. I've got groups on LinkedIn of about 4,000 people, and I've got I'm connected with about 6,000, 7,000 people. So I'm pretty good at growing groups, but how do you do it on Scope? I think that's the issue. So let's get into those four subjects. I'll recap a little bit as we go along, because you've got to with Scope. People will join and leave as you're talking, so you have got to reintroduce yourself. But let's get going on what I've just introduced. So let's have a quick look at. Oh, sorry, that wasn't meant to happen. There we go. Now I've got a. Here we go. Right, so we have Grant Cunningham and Marcus. Hi, Marcus. Good to see you on. Hopefully we'll gather some more people as we go along, but I had a little bit of a problem tonight. I don't know if it was related to the camera problem, but I wasn't able to put up the tweet on Twitter. The app wasn't allowing me to do it. So whether they're mucking around with that or doing something with that tonight, I think I might have. I was getting bigger numbers than this yesterday, but let's carry on. What I succeeded in doing today was because I'm using Android as my platform, and Scope Periscope on Android is a little bit different to what it is on Apple. What I've been able to do now is I'm able to save my my video or my stream direct into the Google Photo app, and I was able to use that what I'd saved and to put that up on Google Plus and on LinkedIn and on Twitter today. So you're able to actually take the video and put it up into other mediums. So we've sort of done introductions. Now there's another two functions that most people don't really quite get, but really critical to the using of Periscope, and that is the hearts and the comments. So let's just do a little test. So let's see to do hearts, you've got to double tap or keep tapping. That's it. Nice pink ones coming up there. The trick is not just to touch it, but to keep tapping it. And some people are really good at that, so very good. So we've got some good tapping going on. The other one is able to put comments into the discussion. This is immediate. Oh, good. Thanks, Marcus. You're doing well. You're helping me out here. You've got to have some helpers on the other side. The thing about Periscope is that it is a very interactive medium. So you can be sitting here trying to manage as a producer, the director, the assistant, the grip, and you've got an audience at the other side that's hopefully sort of wanting to speak to you. So the way you do it is you put your comments in. So let's just do another quick test. So if we say, okay, so yeah, it can be a little fast sometimes, but great. I mean, but I was absolutely amazed. I've been following what other people have been doing on Periscope, and I find that just managing the screen and trying to concentrate and have some structure to what you're talking about is quite hard. I was following this lady, a very nice lady in the States. She was driving along on a freeway, or not even freeway, it was in town, with traffic lights and traffic, and she was managing all this as well. Crazy, I thought. Well, not crazy. I mean, you can do it fine, but it's pretty scary. So, okay, so just put some. I've seen some people do this, and just to see whether it works, can we have some comments? If you think that, if you can hear the birds, type birds. Let's see some birds coming up. Just type in birds and return it. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Here we go. So this I've seen people do this, just random words, and you can actually suss out your audience, because the problem is that you can very, very quickly go back into your little circle. You can be talking to yourself I'm sitting alone in a room in Huntingdon near Cambridge. And I can just get into myself, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be going out to the audience all the time, asking them for endorsements, the hearts, asking them for comments. So you've got to keep your audience going. That seems to be the big trick. So let's deal with Huntingdon, just near Cambridge. We're about 12 miles away from Cambridge on the A1. So I don't know whether you know that part of the world very well, but it's a lovely part of the world. Cambridge, Huntingdon, Cambridgeshire. We're Cambridgeshire. Let's get into some of the basic functionality. Now, I don't know whether this functionality, there was a release of, thanks Marcus, yeah. Sometimes you do try too hard, and probably because I've had some technical problems tonight, I'm a bit stressed, but let's enjoy ourselves. Okay. Yeah, random word, that's a good one. Structure is, but it can get you stressed. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, let's calm it down now, and we're on now. We've got some good comments going. Not a lot of us, because as I said, I couldn't get the Twitter message out, but it's recorded and I'll be using it later anyway, so it's a good call. The basic functionality, just before I get into that, there was a new release of Periscope on Android last night, and a few of the things that came in, there was you can now you're setting up your profile as not a one-shot option. You can actually go back in and you can amend your profile now, so that's something you can do. There's another function come in for the sort of messages that you can get while you're on Periscope, so you can adjust that. You can have noise, vibration, etc., and you can actually choose what your your options are. And there's a few little things like that that have come in. I've also understood better some of the functionality, and I'll get into that. But let's try and do it really quick recap of basic functionality. There are, obviously you set Periscope up, and I won't go into all of that because it's really simple. You go into the App Store, you load it up, and you set it up. Really simple. When you start for the very first time to, you're in the screen, you're given three options at the top. So the first option is a little picture of a television screen. The second option is a picture of the world. And the third option is a group of people. So the television screen is what's happening in terms of broadcasting. What you'll see is the people that you're following. If they're live, you will see them. And if they've actually posted content in the last 24 hours, you'll see that content. So you can look at what's happened and what is happening. And that's the way you can engage in the conversations. You can see what's happening, and you can watch and interact. The next one that you come to is a map of the world. Now, I understand that on Apple, that actually is a map. There is a map in there. You can actually see who's close to where you are. But we don't have that on Android yet. What you've merely got is a list of all the people who are on Periscope or Scopers. And that really sort of freaked me out a bit because I think it started at A. So I was getting all the Africas and the Asias and not really seeing too many people in the world. But that is a useful thing. You can see scopes that are ongoing, that are being promoted by the company that you might want to watch. So you do see the sort of things that people do and get some ideas. The third one, which is a group of people, I misunderstood that to start off with. I thought that was my connections and who was following me. It's not. That third one is merely a suggestions list coming up from Periscope. So that's people you might want to connect with. So you have the little symbol on the right hand side, the little person and a plus. If you press that, then that connects you to that person you are then following them. So that's the three main buttons. Now, they're not just buttons. I don't know whether anybody's experimented a little bit further, but they're actually, you can swipe between them. So it's like three screens. You start off on one, you just swipe across your tablet, moves you to the next one, swipe across again, and it gets you to the third one. So you can just swipe between those three screens. Now, the people one, which I say is the suggestions for who you connect with. Interesting. There's a little icon up at the top right hand corner, and that's a sort of silhouette of a person. Click on that, and that's your settings. So when you go into that, you'll see how many followers you have, how many people are following, how many people you're following, how many people are following you. A few other things as well. I like that. I was interested in a day. I picked up 41 followers, and I'm following 182 people. I've done 6 broadcasts, and I've had 310 hearts. So hearts are good. hearts are what it's all about. That's still quite small numbers though, but that's the number that you've got to try and grow. If you further down that configuration option, there's some settings. So if you click on the settings, there's about 5 or 6. I just set them all to green. I just said, well, I'll just go for it. I'll just open everything up. The really important one is the very last one, which is about saving to your film roll, they call it. If you've got Android and if you've got Google Photos, then actually it saves to your Google Photos, saves the video to your Google Photos. So that really works quite well. So that's the basic functionality. And just to recap, I'm Richard Wisher. I'm an enterprise architect. I like to try and get in behind some of the technology, understand how it works, see where the opportunities are, see how it can be disruptive, and it certainly is disruptive. The 2 things that you can use as a user straight off the bat is putting in your comments. Oh, hi there. Yeah, I've followed you today actually, C4 Compete. So thanks for joining me. I really appreciate that, and thanks for the hearts. So straight off the bat, there's two basic functionalities for a user in a group. One is the hearts. Press the screen, the hearts come up, the different colours. Second one is the comments that come up on the left-hand side. Simple comments. You can put long stuff in, but generally the speed of these things is so fast that you really got to try and be quite quick. And as the speaker or the moderator, encourage people to participate with you by typing in certain things, so you can actually judge the audience, take a poll of the people that are looking for you. So that's the on-screen functionality. And then we just covered the if I remember, the television screen, which is the people that you're following that have got live streams going on or ones that have happened in the last 24 hours. The second one is the picture of the world. And the picture of the world is all the people all of the activity that's taking place on a world stage with the live stuff, some live suggestions at the top, worth looking at. If not very interesting, reject, depending what you want. And then on the right-hand side is the people one, which is the suggestions for who you should link with. And then you can go right up to the top of that final screen, at the very top right-hand side, there's a little picture of a sort of silhouette. Click on that. That then gets you into all your options. And as I say, the most important option for me so far has been the save to film strip, or save to your film strip. It's not film strip. I save to Google Photos. That's the sort of default setting. So that's the basic functionality. Okay. Now, the one I've been saving up and the one I've been struggling with today, not struggling, it's been quite good fun, was growing your audience. You know, you can be speaking, you can be giving this great presentation as I am tonight to about 3 people. So it's video, I can replay it. And it's not just to the people that are on the call, remember. This has a life of 24 hours. And when it moves out of the live, when we finish the live part, which will be in about 5-10 minutes, I'll close down the live part, but it will still remain to be seen by people for the next 24 hours. And when people watch it during those 24 hours, they can still put on the hearts. They can like stuff. You can see what they're liking. When you are looking at it as well, you can look at the people that have been following it for real. So you can actually bring up the individuals. You can see who they are and you can follow them. So there's functionality on top of the basic video. Now, how do you grow your audience? Now, I've grown audience on LinkedIn. I've grown audience on Twitter, and I've grown audience on Google+. Now, I thought maybe there would be something really different in this, but actually it's not. It's very similar to what you've done before. You've got to not just moderate your audience, but you've got to grow it, and you've got to manage it, and try and bring like-minded people or people that you're trying to engage with into your audience. So you may have a very small audience where it's very carefully selected, carefully organized, and it can be really powerful. Or you could have a huge audience that's very fragile but large. That gives the impression of lots of engagement, but the engagement maybe is a bit superficial. Now, I like to try and get into some quite serious. I'm a bit of a serious guy, which is from some of the scopes that I've seen. There's some very frivolous, some quite serious. I'm probably a little bit more to the more serious side. I'm wanting to try and understand this from a real business perspective. So you've got to organically grow the people that you follow. And what you've got to do is you've got to try and get people engaged so they become followers. So they've got to sort of like your content. They've got to sign up to be getting your content. If I put up something, you'll get notified if you're following me. So that's an incentive to follow. I'll try and give you some call outs. I'll try and give you some, I think you've got to be open and magnanimous in the way that you encourage people and support people and promote people for good things. So if I see good things, I'll share it. And what you can do, but you can only really do this when you're confident about the person you're listening to. Well, I can, on the screen, if I lifted up the bottom of the screen, I get a list of the people who are in the call. And there's an option close to the top. You'll see my name and who I am at the top. The next thing you'll see is an option to then share that content with your followers. Now that'd be great if you would do that, but obviously that's about trust, and you've got to know that what I'm talking about is reasonable. That this isn't a scam. There's no funny stuff going on, and I'm a serious guy who is on here for a serious purpose. But when you've got that going, if you get that trust, then sharing what you're watching with your followers is good stuff. It's showing that you're giving value to the people that follow you. You will introduce them to the people that you consider to be good value. So what you've got to try and do then is you've got to have this balance of, you've probably got to hit the same problems I did on Twitter. You've got to have a balance between the followers and the people you're following. On Twitter, they are very, I think, quite small thinking in the way they do it. But for instance, I'm following 2,500 people on Twitter, and I've got 2,300 followers. So I've got a difference of about 200. And Twitter prevents you from following any more people until you bring the followers up to near where the follower. So your ratio of followers to followed is really strictly controlled by Twitter. I don't know if there are any limits on scope on Periscope. I suspect there might be, but maybe not being enforced too much at the beginning. Obviously, they're trying to get lots of people on. So if Periscope follows the Twitter model, what you got to do is you got to have your followers and you got to have the people you're following. And what you got to try and do is keep the people you're following just ahead of the people who are following you. So you do like this, you sort of work it up, yeah? And you don't want too big a gap, because Twitter, Periscope will see the gap and they will stop you at some stage. And you've got to be quite careful about the people you follow. You've got to follow people that you can't just follow a vast army of people. You've got to try and narrow down the topics, the interests that you have specific interest in. Now, they haven't got into segmenting your audience yet, and that's, I think, a big flaw. But I suspect they will get around to that quite soon. As people grow, number of people grow, you really need some segmentation. Twitter is not really that good on segmentation generally. Although, if you're like me, what I do is when I connect with someone on Twitter, I put them into a list. So I have some big lists. So if they're on a list, they don't count in terms of the followers following argument, because they're off here. They're off on a list. And I take them out of this number here. So that's I hope you've enjoyed that. I've planned to be on for about 20 minutes, and I'm just about there now. I'm really sorry about being a bit stressed when I came on and the sort of technical issues that I had, which obviously resolved now. Great. Just a little one to leave you with that I thought was absolutely fantastic, and it just shows the power of this tool. So today I've been playing. I should have been doing my business accounts, which are due at the end of the week, but I've been playing on Periscope, so that's not good news. But I'm happy and enjoying myself. And one of the ones I picked up this morning was the BBC. The BBC News have a thing called Outside Source OS. Outside Source is it's Periscope with other stuff as well, but it's Periscope inside the BBC newsroom, bringing you stories in real time as they break. And you can talk to the presenter while he's doing it. So what I was doing, I came onto the call. I said, hey, there's some really funny noise going on here. So I said there's some really bad background noise going on here, some electrical interference. And the producer came on. She was a very nice lady. and said, yeah, no, we've got some problems. Another person came on and said, yes, we've got some problems as well. We'll get our technicians to look at it. So then she came back and said, well, we think we fixed it now. What does it sound like? And I said, yeah, no, it's good. It's fixed. It's great. So we're having this discussion. So I've been having a discussion with the producer of Outside Source. I'm following her. She might be following me. So you never know. I'm going to do a scope every day this week at 8 o'clock at night, between 8 o'clock and 8:30. I'm going to be talking about getting into Periscope for the very first time and my experiences. And I'm going to see whether this doing something a set time every night for a week, whether that has an effect on my followers. So, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. Anyway, please keep in contact. It's really great. And I've made some good friends on Periscope already. And any questions, any way I can help you, just shout. Thank you very much. Bye.